After days of silence, the National Rifle Association, the powerful pro-gun lobby in the United States, has said that it is shocked and saddened by the mass shootings in Newtown, Connecticut last Friday. The killings have pushed gun control to the top of America's political agenda, with the Obama administration pledging to support a number of changes to the nation's gun laws, including the reinstatement of a ban on assault rifles.
US President Barack Obama has given his backing to efforts to reinstate an assault weapons ban. The 10-year restrictions expired in 2004, but following the Connecticut school massacre, there are calls for them to be renewed.
He is actively supportive of, for example, Senator Feinstein's stated intent to revive a piece of legislation that would reinstate the assault weapons ban. And there are other elements of gun legislation that he could support. People have talked about high-capacity ammunition clips, for example, and that is something certainly that he would be interested in looking at.
Dozens of gun control activists have marched on the Washington headquarters of the National Rifle Association, one of the most powerful lobbies in the capital. The NRA campaigns to uphold the Second Amendment of the US Constitution, the right to bear arms.
Making the kids safe and happy. That's all we're here for.
Shame on the NRA!
But gun control advocates are sending the message to the rest of the country: you aren't safe and won't be unless gun laws change.
You are not immune. Don't fool yourselves. When you are no longer safe to go to a church, go to a grocery store, go to the movies, or enter a school, there is something horribly wrong.
That message and protests like this are putting pressure on the largest and most powerful gun rights lobby, the National Rifle Association,
advocating the right to keep and bear arms,
which has made its first comments in a statement saying the NRA is prepared to offer meaningful contributions to help make sure this never happens again. A rare hint at possible concessions from a group that consistently opposes gun control legislation. It comes as the owner of the company that made the gun used in the shooting says it's getting out of the gun business. Gun retailers across the country have pulled assault rifles off their shelves for the time being. Hollywood has postponed the premieres of 2 violent movies. And in Washington, the White House and some in Congress are talking about reinstating a ban on some assault weapons, strengthening background checks, and possibly other rules.
And there are other elements of gun legislation that he could support.
Past laws have done nothing to get rid of existing guns. They just stopped the production of some new ones. The outstanding question remains: will this time, after this tragedy, be different?
For just under £1,000, the sort of rifle used in Newtown can be yours. In 20 minutes in this gun shop in Virginia, they sold 2 of them. Sales are up, mainly due to the fear of new laws, and customers here say the response to Connecticut needs to be a measured one.
You know, reassess guns again. If somebody were to drive a vehicle through a crowded plaza and do damage, do you outlaw cars? You know, I definitely believe that some things with guns are a little lax. You know, I think some of the testing, I would like to see a little more training involved and things like that. But as far as our Second Amendment and right to bear arms, you know, I firmly believe in that.
This is one of 58,000 gun shops in America. There are tens of thousands of other dealers too. Here, background checks are part of the process, but in other places, they're not. Just part of America's complex relationship with guns. Latest figures show that 16 million of those background checks were carried out in a 12-month period, and less than 1% were denied. There's no doubt the sale of guns is on the increase across America, but that violent crime is going down. And in places like this, they say those two things are connected, that guns are a deterrent.
Meanwhile, authorities are continuing to look for any clue that could lead us to understand a motive for this horrific crime. State police have been unable to retrieve any information from a damaged computer found in Adam Lanza's home. The state's chief medical examiner said the gunman's mother, Nancy Lanza, was shot 4 times in the head, while she slept. Officials are also conducting toxicology tests to determine if Lanza had taken any medications.